Yo, what's going on, guys? We've got episode number 46 of Marvel Yap. Today, we're going to be talking about the Datamines that just released, High Voltage Overdrive, and all that Kid Omega drama. We're not going to be talking about that too much, maybe. And then we're also going to be talking about some OTA predictions or ideas that Dance and I have. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, we are joined by the absolute hostess with the mostest. Not my Dance. How are we doing today, Dance?
Doing absolutely well. Wife just brought me some delicious homemade orange chicken. And let me tell you, stuff slaps. It's very good. However, she warned me that it was a little hot. And I registered it, said thank you. She took 3 steps away and I immediately put it in my mouth. And my mouth, it just is a little bit tender right now. Talk a little bit tender. I've got a baby mouth when it comes to heat. How's it going over in your area? What's going on?
Man, we are doing fantastic. I think every single time I ask my wife or I bring my wife food and it's hot, I have to reiterate every single time, at least 4 or 5 times, it is hot. Please do not eat this just yet. So you reacting the way you do is the way my wife reacts to eating food as well, which is so funny. But other than that, interesting week, Dance. Interesting week, to say the least.
It's okay. We've got our topics for today. I'm gonna just say them real quick because we've got the Datamines one, which there's some extra stuff happening there. I'll say that in a second, and then we're gonna talk about Overdrive as well as just our predictions for the OTA that are coming up. It's a lot of fun, exciting things. We'll talk about the Datamines specific thing here in a second, but I will say, at least in regards to what is it? Just as a prelude to the second section, I'm gonna be honest. I've had a blast in Marvel Snap this week. I just didn't play Overdrive.
You just stay away from the drama-ridden game mode, and you just
it's not even the drama. I just don't like the game mode. It just feels
really?
We don't like Airsham, Tuck.
Yeah.
We talked about that before. This just feels like Airsham light. When everyone's like, okay, just take Airsham out and make it its own game mode. This is second dinner secret strat. Okay, the second dinner being like, what if we did that? What does that look like? And it's something like this, and I ain't here for it.
Yeah, it does. So like, I totally get the comparison to it being Airsham light. But I think something that makes me not dislike it as much as I dislike Airsham is the fact that it's like, yes, I mean, you're supposed to try and win as much as possible now, trying to be able to get Kid Omega, but like the losses don't feel as devastating to me as like I just snapped for extra cubes against Airsham. I lost to some random shenanigans. But like, I do agree, like, there's a lot of moments where I'm not even looking at what the special effect is. It happens. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know. I shouldn't even have been playing for that, or I should have been playing around that kind of thing. And that throws me off, because sometimes they change, like, during the mid-game. Like, and you get a brand new one.
I don't remember when that, like, when the change occurs there. But, I mean, to be fair as well, we didn't really think about the game mode, and, like, we didn't understand that stuff as much. So last week, we were like, yeah, we're, like, stoked about all these things. Like, the game mode came out. I'm sour on it. Everything about Kid Omega came out, and we're like, it was the first time I ever considered DMing you, like, what if we just re-recorded the episode? I almost
re-recorded the entire episode. Now that would have been fun.
Okay, maybe like that section, but like still, I don't know. But speaking of specific sections, like being re-recorded and or out of place, so there's Datamines that come out for Marvel Snap whenever a new patch occurs, and today is patch day. However, like we said before, we record this on a Monday. And sometimes we do record it later in order to try to do a patch thing, but we're not going to do that so much here. We will be so we're about to, I think, cut to us in the future, right, Tuck? I think that's what's going to happen here.
Yeah, Dan. So we're going to be cutting over to our High Voltage Talk. We might be wearing clothes. We might not be wearing clothes. Same shirt. Maybe he's got a mustard stain.
Datamine Talk. You mean Datamine Talk? High Voltage Talk is going to be what we're going to do after the cut. So don't go away. All right, you're gonna go back to us in the past.
There's so many cuts going on. Dance is confusing me.
Dude.
But we'll see you guys here in a second. And now we are live in the future. Datamines are now out, as we do see some heralds of Galactus on screen here.
Yeah. So okay, I mean, so this is the season we've actually talked about this, I think, like a week or two ago. God, I'm so confused with the time framing because we just did one yesterday, or not, but it's all part of the same thing. Y'all are seeing this. God, I'm so confused. But there's a lot of really fun stuff in this brand new patch that came out. By the way, there's a bug I've noticed. Music is, for everyone who actually uses the music, your music isn't playing.
Oh, really? I hear the music. So
In a match, like in a match.
In a match, it's not playing. Okay.
Yeah, but it's weird because then if you go to a conquest match, doesn't play for the first one, plays second.
What the heck? That's really weird.
That's how bugs are. Bugs are typically weird. But let's actually talk about this stuff here. We've got, I'm assuming it seems like a lot of things.
Yeah, apparently it's looking like we haven't really seen any new stuff. We know some stuff has been updated, but we don't know the specifics either. So this is all of our just live reactions to the Datamines itself.
I even got a buddy to look at this stuff to make sure we could talk about it in a good order. And he looked at it, told me the order, and so we were using that. So let's see how we can do today. I'm stoked.
Which it looks like we have the preview for the season pass also in August now, with some no images for first steps collected.
Apparently not. Was Deadpool a herald of Galactus, right? Because it feels like that was the theme of a lot of stuff.
Maybe. I know Ghost Rider. We have Cosmic Ghost Rider on the background of one of these cards here, and that looks like a crazy cool card.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah. And then the other thing is probably like Galactus's thing. Which one of those do you think is gonna be the Infinite?
Probably Galactus's. They want to do the more simplistic one for the gold. So like they'll change like the coloring of the purple and make it gold, or the pink and make it gold. But I think we do have some changes to some of the First Steps Fantastic Four cards. Actually,
a couple. Okay. What we have?
So we have. We're going to start off with Marvel's Daily Bugle, of course, posted this today. We have, I think Mr. Fantastic went from a 2-3 to a 2-2.
Yeah, he did. That's the change there, which honestly, this card was busted beforehand. So this is a solid change. If you didn't know what he did, it looks like the ability is the same. End of turn, give a card in your hand -1 cost or +2 power. This is such a good change. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that 1 point of power. I mean, this card has a lot of really crazy potential, especially since it's not an ongoing. It's just an end of turn, which like a lot of the cards this season are like end of turn cards. Besides Herbie. Herbie is actually an activate, kind of like Nico in a sense. I don't know exactly if the power changed for Herbie or if he got a better logo.
He got his power changed. He was a 2-2.
Oh, so he got an increased point of power, and his activate is like whenever that ability is that turn, you activate that like a Nico kind of spell in a sense. But of course, Herbie has to be in play opposed to that turn. Like you play Herbie and it activates.
Yeah, honestly, this is a very solid bit of changing just between these two. And I think there's one more change, which is, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to make everyone get angry.
Yeah, it is. What is Datamine as the premium season pass card? It is going to be the Fantastic Car is a 4/7 activate, give your end of turn cards +2 power, which means any of them that are on the board when this activates gets +2 power.
I don't get how we didn't talk, spoiler alert, we didn't talk about Thing in terms of our OTA things. I realized I can't, I was going to just say it as if it was known. It wasn't. That's at the end of the episode. But this is like this. The fact that we have a card like this that I still question if it's going to be good or not, and it's a 4/7, and we still have that existing for the Thing is insane to me. There's some situations where I agree, like keep the. I understand you want to keep the new player experience in a way, sure, but this is one of those cards that I truly disagree with. Just base Thing, that needs to get changed, but.
Yeah, I think this is a card that, you would wish have another ability, but it's like, their probably thing is, the Hulk doesn't have an ability except when it's in high evo, so the Thing shouldn't have an ability except when it's in high evo is probably their
Well, no, I mean, just it should be like a 4/7.
But you think the Thing's just base power. Gotcha.
Yeah, base power should just be a 4/7, 100%. And same thing with Cyclops. Both of those need to see a point increase in power just due to the way that power creep and just the game has shifted. It doesn't even make those cards that much better early game.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'd be interested to see how it measures up. But it looks like we finally got some pictures as well for the Heralds, which I think we're going to start with the Heralds before we move on to the other cards, because apparently it looks like there's even more new cards. As Terrax now has a picture and is a 3/3 on reveal for each losing location. Shuffle a rock into the losing player's deck as a 3 cost. Poor Rock Slide.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a little bit last time. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. I think I'm just gonna restate it because I think it was you misspoke right there, but it was on reveal for each location. Shuffle a rock into the losing player's deck. I think you said losing an extra time. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, I still say this guy looks like Darkseid, but I'm stoked.
He looks sick.
He does.
Next we have Redshift. Yo, this also looks awesome.
These are kind of some sick pieces of base art, honestly.
Yeah. On reveal, discard the leftmost card in your hand to add a random card with the same cost to your hand.
I'm down. I like it. I'm here.
This I
think we've seen these abilities. I don't know if they've changed, but I think we've seen these.
We haven't, and they were data mined with a cost and power too, but now we're actually getting to visualize it opposed to having to read in detail on Snap.fan. But
I like it.
This is something like Agatha, first thing comes to mind, and Agatha plays this on 2 herself. So, this is a card that immediately can do Agatha things. Honestly, can be good for Black Knight. Yeah, this actually...
I hate the fact that we both thought that.
Actually, because there's a lot of instances where you draw Black Knight late, and you're like, well, I mean, I have Blade in hand, but I don't have a good Blade target. All my big cards have already, gone to the front because, I'm not playing them. This is a great card for Black Knight. I love the cost and power for it as well. 3 power, it fits right into kind of what you would be doing in that kind of situation.
Ooh, Cerebro 3 discard, when?
Cerebro 3. That's true. Cerebro 3 discard.
But that's a thing, right? That's the thing that people do with, you can use Bullseye, you can go Gambit, Moon Knight, Swarm. This actually might, there's a real chance actually with this card, it could be a thing that you could do.
Or even this could be slotted into classic discard for that Bullseye shell as well.
I think you do with Collector, right? Yeah. Because this is another good reason for Collector. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, no, this card I think is actually going to be pretty versatile, and I don't think this is anything crazy. I think leftmost discard, targeted discard always is really good. It elevates a lot of these discard shells, so would not be surprised this card is great. Yo, Fire Lord looks sick.
Bro, just active. Dude, he's just aura farming right now. That's insane.
Which is a very interesting kind of ability to on reveal revive one of your discarded or destroyed 3 cost cards here. So it comes to this location. So it's a targeted revive, opposed to kind of like Morgan Le Fay adds them back to your hand and then you have to play them out again. Granted, Morgan Le Fay does
It's weird that we're seeing a few of these get to from Fenris onwards, right? It's been discarded or destroyed.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, no longer as much focusing on one or the other, which is, it's strange, but also I still don't mind it, right? Because we still have Hela, I think is Hela, and then Phoenix Force are kind of the only ones that are truly targeted.
This is immediately an amazing card for the Cassandra Nova Firehair Misery deck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's just, and it's very specifically 3 cost cards, so you just have, it's gonna be great. Fire Lord's gonna be a lot of fun.
Wow. Okay. Next we have this guy also is aura farming.
And this is the guy who I think we talked about last time. These 2 guys work together because when this Airwalker is a data mine at this, and all these are data mines, obviously yada yada, subject to change. And insert the script here that means that don't believe any of this is 100% truthful. When this is destroyed, replace with a 4-cost card from your hand or deck. Gonna be fun. Yeah,
it also can be a targeted draw or a deck thinner in a sense, which is really cool.
And you use that with the other guy, right? Because you just literally destroy him.
Yep.
You bring, and then that's also not a once per game thing. I just realized as well.
You could repeatedly.
Dude, Angel's weeping.
Hey. Angel's been weeping for ages. I think, do we have... Yo, it's Cosmic Ghost Rider has stayed the same from what it was data mined so far, but I
love the blue and the orange fire for Cosmic Ghost Rider. God, this card. All right, these cards, I'm gonna be honest, the art for next season, I don't know how much I'm sold on really for the main Fantastic Four. But this art, oh my gosh, it's hitting.
Yeah, no, and I think I like the power to cost too. I think 7 is good for what it does because I feel like 8, of course, is you kind of more the standard now with it. But with this being a potentially 2 targeted kind of card, kind of paying.
It's also a tech.
Yeah, a tech, kind of like the Lady Deathstrike is a 5/7 opposed to a 5/8. because you can do multiple
Legion,
things.
Black Bolt, even honestly, right? It's stuff like that.
Which on reveal, remove the text from the front row enemy cards. Here is a potentially really good just late game play. Of course, this works against end of turn cards. It works against ongoing. It works against activate. It works against just flat text. Like, this is going to be a potentially strong card. I don't necessarily be like, yo, this is the best card in the game ever, blah, 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 but like, this card is going to have a lot of great usages, which I think is really nice.
Yeah. This is going to be a very interesting one that people are going to be playing like later in the game or what have you. So I'm just very stoked by it.
Yeah, turning off Fenris in some of these instances, I think is a big thing because we're starting to see more and more Fenris. Next.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I just realized as well because of Fallen One looks sick. But I'm going to say at least on the previous one, not only does it try to remove text, it also interacts directly with like rows, and every single time that's happened, it's been buggy. Yes. So this card, dude, Cosmic Ghost Rider, like I'm stoked. Ain't no way if this card gets it into the game bug free. I don't know. I'm gonna be stoked.
Yeah, no, it'll definitely be buggy. Next we have Dance's potentially new favorite card of the season, the Fallen One. 5/5 on reveal. Set your max energy equal to this card's power.
I'm stoked.
Yeah.
You know why I'm stoked, Tuck?
Hand buff?
No, I'm stoked because I'm currently actually in the background watching youtube.com/@Tucker. I didn't know if you knew that, but it's a great channel. They've got a lot of really awesome content. Great guy, great personality, great beard, really handsome and attractive. And I mean, I just enjoy it. And I'm assuming everyone here watching or listening does as well, because right now, if you're watching, you are actually on the channel. So go ahead, go down below, hit the subscribe button, go ahead and do that for me. Because guess what? Tucker's also putting out a new series, starting out trying to give you the top cards of the week. Really cool stuff, really awesome thumbnails that took way too long for me to figure out what I wanted to do with that. And he's just a really great guy. So go follow him down below on his YouTube. You also can go to his Twitch, you can go to his Twitter, his TikTok. I don't know what other platforms exist. There's too many. But seriously, he's an absolutely great guy. I'm stoked about Fallen One, but I'm more going to be stoked if you go ahead and give him all the love and support you can. Because honestly, hand buff's going to be a really great time. I'm so stoked for it.
Thank you, Dance. But I know this card looks very interesting. I feel like, and with its cost too, it's not something you're trying to play out early. I mean, you could try and play this out early. Like, don't get me wrong. I think that does help in certain instances when you get to a certain point. But like, Gwenpool into this, Galacta into this is two of just like the primary options, or even like Forge, Nakia, Okoye, Fastos. Like, there's a bunch of different ways to get like a lot of value out of this, which setting your max energy, like if you do this on turn 5, like let's say this is at 6 power, right? That means you're starting off turn 6 with 6, and then you also get the +1, so you end up having 7 power or 7 energy going in the next turn, right?
Yep. And this is also going to be really solid for what it's worth with Mr. Fantastic, like you already mentioned, as well as, like you said, Festus. Yeah. And one of the other cards that I was thinking about is Luna Snow. You play this 1 turn early, and that also still works. So you could play this on turn 4 to make your turn 5 get 6 power.
Oh, that's really smart. And I hadn't thought about it that way. That's actually a really good shout. And I think we have 2 more. Oh, no, we have 3 more. Okay. So Frankie Ray, which is a 3/4. After the next time you play a 6-cost card, double this card's power. So essentially,
didn't we talk about this being like it's only a one-time effect according to the way this is worded? Right, because otherwise it would say like after
curious.
You play it.
We were curious if it is single turn or single time or not, because like I'm used to if it's single time being once per game, but until maybe we see it happen, like the odds of you playing another 6-cost card out aren't normally too high unless you're playing ramp. But
this is true. So the once per game. So I wonder, this is actually a really interesting shout. I wonder if the once per game thing, right? Because that's on a few cards.
Yeah.
What are they just going to remove that and say the next time, or are they going to go with like, are they going to go with this instead? Because otherwise, like if you look at Black Knight as well, it would say after the next time you discard a card. Same thing with Negasonic. Yeah. After an enemy card is played here, she says that, and then it says once per game. But it would, but based off this, I actually like this better. It probably saves them like a few characters of text. I think this might be a new wording thing. This isn't important about the card, but
so you think it is a new wording thing, and you think this is going to be limited to once per game?
I feel like that is correct. It just makes sense to me here.
Okay, which I could see it going potentially either way. I think once we get like definitive, like we actually see these cards, because these are still data mines and we still have another month till it happens. But I wouldn't be mad. I mean, 3-8 is still good stats, you know, or that's without buffing this card. I think you could totally buff this card too, and it could, you know, get value in a sense. Like, I wonder, like, this into like a Thanos deck. Like, if you Time Stone and then you get Thanos out earlier, like, you can get some better Scar value if you've buffed this card as well. So, like, there's a bunch of, I feel like, different ways you kind of could mess around with this. Next we have, bro, this card, the aura on all of these heralds are
dude, they all look so good. Dude, they're Galactus, you know, he's got taste. He's got taste.
He looks like he could be one of the aliens from the Omnitrix.
I was kind of thinking. Yeah. Stardust is a Datamine at this 4/7 stat line. With the ongoing ability, cards can't be added to locations except by playing or moving them. So the M'Baku counter that we've all been waiting for is finally out, potentially, again, as Datamined.
Brood counter,
gonna be sick.
Jubilee, Eson, Time Stone for Infinity Ultron. Very
that's also like the worst of the stones?
Yes, it is. Well, no, Space Stone I think is probably the worst one. They gave it 5 power, but
dude, the 5 power is solid. Just as a 2/5, I don't know. I like it more rather than
Time Stone allows you to pull a card from your hand to the location.
Yeah, but whatever. We'll talk about this more later. We've got too much other things that we have to discuss here because we haven't even gotten through all the cards we've already seen. We probably should hurry up that because we got, I believe, a bunch more for the future stuff.
This looks pretty interesting. First steps go Silver Surfer 3/4 end of turn. If you're winning this location with an on reveal card, copy this text. So I think we were talking about this last time. If there's no on reveal card here until the end of game and you're winning the location, she won't go off. Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Because it has.
I feel like that's what we've said, right?
Because it's an if-then statement, it has to meet the criteria for the if before the then can happen.
Yes.
Okay. And then first steps, Galactus. 6/10, my Herald is the next character I see you play. So that means Galactus in your hand, the next character you see you play is what counts as the character for his Herald. And if you're winning that location, Galactus gets +3 power each
and that's
turn.
Yeah. And that's going to be, what is it? So this is if Galactus is either in your hand or somehow on the board.
Yep.
Right?
And you should be able to see it, I would say, like you were talking about this, like Red Hulk. This is something you should be able to see because it's +3 opposed to like Hulk. You don't see the Hulk gain +2 power. You have to assume, you know, they gain it there. But now, these are cards Dance and I have seen before, the ones we've just seen. Now, we are about to see some cards that we have not seen before.
Ooh, I'm already seeing some names here that I like and recognize. Super Adaptoid. I'm just going straight into it. Okay, spoiler for future in this yap. We talk about wanting a counter to act. Bro, we said this yesterday. Y'all haven't heard it yet. We're going to talk about this. This is really funny to future us here. God, this is such a weird episode. But like the fact that we said we wanted a counter to activate and we didn't know what that would have to look like. Super Adaptoid is that counter that just says on reveal, steal the text from an enemy activate card here. That's insane to me that we said this. Yeah, said that yet. Oh my God, that's wild. That's a fun card.
Yeah, honestly, the first thing that comes to mind is stealing a symbiote Spider-Man from someone trying to Galactus you. So they're stuck.
That's hilarious. I'm thinking of just like, imagine someone's like sets up this big bullseye play and you're like,
honestly, that's a even better shout. Is because that deck is still running amok, and this is a Datamine, probably like a September card. And if you're looking at the card, that 2-cost card, the 2-cost card that we were talking about, that would be really good into just even classic discard with Collector. This is something that would be a great counter to that, especially if it is running amok.
Yeah, you want to hear what we're talking about? You're gonna have to wait till later on in this episode. But this card. So hopefully it'll make sense later on. You can just rewatch the yap a couple of times just to help us out and make sure you understand everything that's going on here. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. What do we got next?
Danger. What? That's activate destroy an enemy card here with less power?
It has to be set up, right? Like I actually don't mind this.
I don't. Yeah, because it's activate. Like literally. So I'm thinking this card really just puts more into perspective how bad Cobra is.
Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna tell you this because also for what it's worth, Super Adaptoid, I didn't talk about as much. It kind of is just like, it literally just adapts to whatever the things are, like all the Avengers powers do, whatever it's an enemy in the past. I don't know who Danger is. I looked it up. This is the personification of the Danger Room.
Oh. Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I thought it's the physical manifestation of the software program used to power the Danger Room. Yeah. So this card's gonna be a lot of fun. This card's gonna be sick. Hold up. And I saw one of the other cards because for a second there, I've got a theory about this upcoming season in September.
I think my head is where yours head is at, because I think one of the cards I got a sneak peek of just the name is a card you've kind of wanted in the game for a hot minute. I don't know if it's the next card. It is not the next card, but
hold up. Who is you talk about this? I'm gonna look up who they are. You read all the stuff here.
Wait, hold on. Carmina Shapandar, Omega Sentinel. Which dance? Can I jump the gun and assume what season this is? I think we're on the same page here. Is this?
Wait, here. Hold up. 3, 2, 1.
Robots or robots?
Oh.
Or
okay.
or robots.
Well,
could be robots.
Because the next one isn't a villain.
Okay. So it could just be sentient beings or robots.
That's kind of my guess. Okay, let's talk about this first.
Omega Sentinel, 4/3. Activate Afflict the highest powered enemy card here with -7 power.
Are they doing a thing where they're making all the robots like? Are these robots? Has everyone been activate? No. Well, actually, yes.
Yes, because the on reveal turns to an activate. So technically, yes.
Robot activate season. I'm calling it September. Robot activate season. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
This is fun. Also, yeah. So apparently, this is someone who was infected with the Omega Sentinel technology and became a machine. Like equipped with state-of-the-art technology aimed at exterminating mutants, and then she at some point overcame her abilities or overcame her like programming and was helping out mutants. That's who Karima Shapandar is. This looks fun. This is the card I saw. Awesome Andy. And it's another activate. God, I love Awesome Andy. Oh, I'm stoked here. I'm going to talk about it. Sorry. 2/1 at activate ability. Give one of your cards at each other location +2 power. So it's a 2. I mean, wait, hold up. So that's a 2/5. It's not bad.
Yeah. Toxie.
I think this is the
right now.
Yeah, honestly, this is this. Oh my God, you're so correct. That's so upsetting. I don't mind this. This looks like a fun one.
But it's similar in a sense to, well, not similar in a sense to Toxie, because like this is activate the next turn you can do stuff. Toxie limits what you can do the next turn.
No, Toxie still sucks.
Yeah,
true. That's all.
Okay.
Okay. This. Yeah. I mean, those are all robots with activate abilities. Because Super Adaptoid, I don't think that's one.
Sparky. Sparky 2/3.
Who is Sparky?
Activate, give your card that last moved +2 power and move it back to its previous location.
Wait.
What
the heck?
What?
Oh my gosh. No. Dude, do you know who this is, by the way? I just looked it up. Again, I'm looking this up.
I think I have seen Sparky before, but let the viewers know and listeners.
Sparky is a synthezoid created by the Vision as the first step in reuniting his family.
Is he like a dog?
And it's Zeke, a dog belonging to the Vision's neighbors, had died when he accidentally dug up the Grim Reaper's corpse and was electrocuted by his scythe. Zeke's brain was then extracted from his body and used by the Vision to model Sparky's brain. Bro, comics are so messed up. What is this?
Bro, he met the Grim Reaper. He got electrocuted by the Grim Reaper?
What is this? And this, I mean, that's a robot.
I'm getting Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy mixed with Goddard from Jimmy Neutron.
Goddard, bro, I go down. It's Goddard.
It's Sparky.
And it's a movement card, right? So it's Vision, because Vision can move as well. Okay, and it's a rope. And wait, it's previous location.
Yes. So if it like hits a torch, a dagger, or like a vulture,
oh, that's kind of great.
That's gross.
Wait, give your card that last moved though.
Yes.
Oh God, I'm so down.
So like,
oh, that's awesome.
This is like also Hercules and Topaz fanfic. Kind of punching air a little bit.
I'm gonna avoid any spoilers for future in this episode. Who we got next, Tuck? You know what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Robot, dude, robot. It's Jocasta. This is Ultron's wife. I don't even need to look this up.
Okay. Wait. Immediately activate your other cards here without using up their activate abilities? Brother, what?
That's insane.
What?
Oh my gosh, this card is busted. Oh, I love this. This is insane. Right? This is actually insane.
Yes.
Dude, Ozymandias even great now. That's like double. You could double Osman. Oh my God, there's a lot of great stuff here.
Of course, you have to combo the right activate cards with it, of course. But like, it makes.
I
so
mean,
you can
don't worry.
activate them
Apparently, with
again.
this season,
Because
this season you're gonna have your options.
This is the thing I think that. No, I was talking to Robo about this. I may have said this in the Yap this episode. I was like, we don't have another thing that like procs activates again. I don't know if I said this episode, but we've talked about it before. I don't know if it was on the pod.
I don't remember, but whatever.
That's crazy. Without using up their activate as well. So it's like
that's so good.
A Wong activate, kinda.
I like that. This is a card that I feel like we've been kind of wanting for a hot second, and this is gonna be. Well, oh, dude. Oh no, Black Widow.
True. Black Widow. This is rough for Black Widow.
Can you use it with the card you've already activated?
No, I don't think so. But
right, because it doesn't use up their activate abilities, but if they have been used up, it doesn't say anything about that.
Because like I feel like when a card is activated, their text kind of just goes away. Like I think it like turns off, not turns off, but like or is it like a Red Guardian thing? Like
no, because it doesn't go away. Because technically, if I activate a card and then who's the guy? Super Adaptoid is played at the location, then Super Adaptoid could still steal it, but the activate text was on it. Because I've done it with where I've used activate cards with the images of icon.
Okay, so
and the text doesn't go away.
Because like when Negasonic, when I've done images icon, it makes a fresh Negasonic. So like I guess it's probably similar concept there. Okay,
but it's weird because I don't even think it's actually a similar concept because it feels like I don't know. This is weird.
Not this card. Like not this card being a similar concept. Just the idea of it doesn't disappear entirely. Like it's not like a tech that's been hit by Red Guardian. Like that's
exactly.
It's not like turned off. You just can't do it again. Which is also very interesting if we're talking about Activate. Last September they introduced Activate and it kind of fell flat. So they're doing it again.
It's been a year cooking.
This will be new September Activate cards. It'll be another season.
According to the way that we've seen stuff like from them in the past, where they've mentioned things, they're like 6 months ahead or something like that, 6 or 7 months. So they're either probably working on December right now, or like I'd say January cards.
Yes.
So it took them like 3 months to figure out about what they. That makes sense. No, we said it took take a few months for them to figure out stuff, right?
Yep.
So 3 or 4 months. Let's imagine it took them in September, and then they're usually, I'd say, like 7 or 8 months in advance. Mm-hmm. That's a September season right there.
Yep. Okay.
No, okay. Who's it? Perry's the one who's always saying like they forgot about Activate. No, they were just they had it ready. They just couldn't put everything out at the same time because they didn't know what they were gonna do.
They were dry aging their Activate cards.
Exactly. Yo, yes! This is your boy. I'll let you do it. Bombings.
Okay.
Oh, this card's sick.
Warlock is going to be a 3/4 activate. For each unspent energy, give a card in your hand -1 cost.
I mean, this is going to bring... I mean, we've talked about how people are saying Fantastic Card's going to bring back High Evo. Honestly, I don't believe it will. This is the card to bring back High Evo.
This card's got to have some of the best variants in the game, please.
Oh my gosh, dude, what is it? If you get to keep your turn 6, or turn 7, sorry. Turn 6, you activate this guy.
Yep.
And you've got She-Hulk and Infinite in hand. Uh-huh.
Or even you just play onto Hope Summers on turn whatchamacallit? on turn 3.
Oh,
or,
yeah.
or on turn 4. Sorry.
Turn 4, yeah.
Like, you can...
That-
oh, my gosh.
Oh, and then you can even play Sunspot same turn.
Yeah. There's a lot
None of these cards have been 1
stuff.
cost. These have been a lot of 3 cost, which is a 3 cost and 4 cost so far, other than like Andy, which is interesting. I'm also kind of interested now, like, it's a lot of 3 costs. Is this like a surf? Are there going to be surfer worlds for some of these guys? Are there going to be... I don't know how much surfer, at least for this card in particular.
Yeah.
But like also you've got Zabu potential with some of the other ones we've seen, and some 5 costs as well. So it's like there's been a lot of big activate cards. And we talked about it in the past how it was like Activate felt like it was struggling to find its footing on these bigger cards. Again, this is potentially what we're seeing where like they take the time to figure out what they want to do with Activate, how it works, the best way to do it. And now it's really coming to fruition.
Yeah, like I wonder, like, we don't have a 3-cost Activate at the moment, right?
Oh, Black Widow, Bullseye.
Oh, okay,
yes,
so we have 2. We have 2. But though
as of right now, it's only 2.
Okay.
I think is Invisible Woman next month one, or is she 2 cost?
I think Invisible Woman is the next 3-cost Activate. But we look at the performance, which I was trying to get at. The 4-cost slot for Activate is the hardest slot for Activate at the moment, whereas the 3s, 2s, and 1s are better. Like, if you look at Aranya, you look at Black Swan, you look at Jennifer Kale, you look at Kid Omega, Bullseye, which I blanked on Bullseye, Black Widow, but like Bullseye specifically, Black Widow less. But I do think with Yocasta, what's her name?
Oh, Black
Widow.
Jocasta, by the way, with Black Widow.
Yes.
That was the biggest reason why I would have said earlier why they wouldn't make another thing to like happen twice. But
yeah, here we go. But yeah, no, I think this is interesting for them to try the 3-cost Activate and see if that actually is just the sweet spot they needed going forward.
I hit the right arrow key by accident.
This is why I think the right arrow key is, I think, someone you've been talking about for months. Nope, not this one. There's a different one. But
no,
this...
Sorry, I saw it. I was waiting. I saw ahead, so I had to stop myself.
Wait.
So Jim this is actually really cool. Hold up. So this is a useful little thing that I don't know if everyone knows, but I'm going to say it anyway. So one of the first actual comic book characters was the Human Torch, but it's not the Human Torch appearing in the Fantastic Four movie. It is this guy, the Jim Hammond Human Torch, who is actually a robot, if I'm not mistaken.
It would make sense if we're doing all the robot stuff.
Yeah, but it's not an Activate one. Do you want to talk about the ability here? I'm going to look at the lore a little bit.
Yes, Jim Hammond Human Torch is a 1-cost, 1-power card. At the start of each turn, +1 power for each bonus energy you have. So this would pair with the Fallen one, right? If you have bonus max energy, or even with Hope Summers, Jennifer Kale, would work.
This is also a word. This is using a new word called bonus energy, and we haven't ever seen something like this before in particular. By the way, Wiccan as well.
Arisha?
Honestly, Psylocke, yeah, unfortunately. Psylocke, Jennifer Kale, all that stuff, yeah. This is the, actually, hold up. If I'm looking, Marvel Comics, Volume 1, Issue 1, introduced this guy.
Oh, so he's like
Which
OG,
actually,
OG.
I wonder if that's a shout to the cost and power. It's a 1/1. This is Volume 1, Issue 1 of Marvel Comics introduced Jim Hammond Human Torch, which, by the way, is just like this is an, let's see. So it's an android who mimicked all the functions of a human being. It just had these things, basically. It was a Human Torch.
Okay.
There's a lot of fun stuff here.
I do think we haven't come across the card that I think I saw. I
saw a card.
I think is it?
This is another one that we've talked about in the past. Go for it. I think you hit the
This
right
guy.
button.
Yeah, this is the guy I was like, yo, we're finally getting Dance's guy.
Dude, Bastion, I love this. And this ability also kind of screams Season Pass card.
Oh, let me see. 4/5, and it says, on reveal, add copies of your other cards here to your hand. Set their cost to 2 and power to 3. Like what? What is something that is a 2 cost 3 power? Esme, or I mean.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking this is similar to Esme. My bad.
Yeah, it's similar to a Sentinel. You're setting them to like Sentinel power.
Oh yes, got you. No, it's gonna be fun. I like the idea for this card. This is interesting as well in terms of like, it's a 4-cost 5 power.
Mm-hmm.
This is 4 cost. Like, this kind of feels a little bit awkward, but at the same time, I kind of like it. I don't know. This feels like a very interesting card.
Yeah, this also like screams.
Oh my gosh, and just like
Quinjet.
Luke Cage.
Yes, Quinjet, Luke
Quinjet.
Cage.
Oh God. Oh, this is no. This is Victoria Hand. Victoria Hand wins.
Yeah. And yeah, Victoria Hand just goes crazy.
Because you throw Moonstone here. Like that, you can copy Moonstone. Yeah, Bastion's gonna be it. Oh, this, I'm stoked for. So this is, again, we're talking about like that robot stuff, right? Isn't he like, he's like a technopath is what they call it right now, telepath, I think, something like that.
I think so.
According, if X-Men 97, minor spoilers, really fun guy, really cool.
Yeah.
Story.
Oh my goodness. So I'm getting Warlock and you're getting Bastion. So
Dude, we're getting some X-Men. Wait, hold up. When is X-Men 97 season 2 coming out?
I don't think
Is it-
it's
is
till
it-
2026.
I'm gonna look that up while you look at the next guy.
Next we have Moria X. 1 cost, 2 power card. When this is destroyed, get a copy of your opening hand.
That's interesting. Huh, okay.
What? Okay.
I like that. Yeah, it looks like, by the way, for what it's worth, X-Men 97 wasn't, was it season 2 premiere had been pushed to 2026. It wasn't, nothing was shown about it in the, in their 2025 slate. So, yeah, so basically just copy your opening hand, which there's like a location that does this already a little bit, I think.
You have to fill the location to copy your hand.
I like the idea for this card. This actually seems pretty interesting.
Yeah, this will be something Victoria Hand week again. You know?
Yeah.
Like-
Okay, let me cope. This kind of feels like a solid card with Angel.
Angel, if Angel's in your hand, but I think where your head is at, Token Destroy. This makes a lot of sense for Token Destroy for the Mockingbird and Death, potentially even Sasquatch value, like Dormammu value.
Oh, even doing some fun, honestly, Morgan Le Fay. I had some fun things trying to do with like Token Destroy and stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't amazing, but what if you could? What if I could copy my opening hand there? That's a lot of fun.
Having another out there, I think, I think this will be very interesting. I can't wait to see what people like build for it. Next, we have this card has been data mined for ages.
Viv Vision. Yeah, I've seen this before. This is interesting. Okay, so data mined at a 3/3. End of turn. Oh, whoa. End of turn. Give each card in your hand +1 power if you're winning here. Otherwise, move this to another location. Oh, this is sick. Bro, this is, okay, we're talking about like what cards would fit in Surf. This is a Surfer card.
Yeah. This
Bro,
is,
your Brood, your Shaw. No,
Yeah.
Viv Vision's kind of sick.
Also could be for like Galactus stuff too. Like, yeah, like this is gonna be really, really interesting.
We're talking about OG Galactus, not Galactus First Steps. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that's fun. Okay.
What
we got?
Next we have, I think.
Oh wait, that's it. That's it.
I think that is, I think that's everything.
That is, so those are all the new Datamine cards. I think there's a little bit of extra info we can find on.
Which, by the way, this is the Infinite Galactus card back that we were talking about earlier. They did change the purple and make it. They inverted what I thought it was going to be, but okay.
I like it.
And we have new referenced cards. 42.
Yep. So one other thing I'm also going to point out that I'm not going to ask you to scroll up because there's like Stamp Fan has a bunch of adverts. Right above it, one of the other things that they talk about here are new snap packs that talk about like they say a spotlight or just like sub archetype names, picks, which I'm assuming might be creator picks. They also have the discard ones, ongoing ones, on reveal ones one's from apparently Deadpool's
Wait, they
Timer.
have new snap packs?
They have new snap pack information up. I'm not gonna ask you to scroll up here. I'll just tell you what it says. It says archetype.subarchetype name picks, which I'm assuming is like someone's picks, like a creator, like they talked about in the past. They also have things saying fill out your sub-archetype name collection, aka like discard, destroy, ongoing, on reveal, activate, move. They have some of the other abilities are like negative power. Some with, they say just no ability. They've got Deadpool's Diners, Sanctum Showdown, High Voltage, Overdrive, Conquest, Grand Arena, as well as different teams. So 1 million BC, AIM, Asgard, Avengers, Black Order, Champions, Dark Avengers, Defenders, Eternals, Excalibur, Fantastic Four, Future Foundation, Gods of the Realms, Guardians, Hand, Hellfire Club, Hellions, Heralds of Galactus, Hydra, Illuminati, Inhumans, Clintar, Marauders, Masters of Evil, Midnight Suns, Mighty Avengers, Mutants, New Mutants, Savage Avengers, Secret Avengers, Shield, Sinister Six, Spider Society, Strange Academy, Thunderbolts, Wakanda, Weapon Plus, West Coast Avengers, X Factor, X Force, X-Men, Young Avengers.
Good gravy, that's a lot. Can you say that
Yeah.
2 times fast?
Screw you. But then we see some other references here. Colonel America. Who's Colonel America?
We do have also some champion cards, head pool, some skills for champions. We have Mole Man.
Wait a second. Hold up. Scroll for a second. Huh. One thing you just showed, the hunger.
Yeah.
Do you know what the hunger is, Tuck?
Is Katniss in it or no?
No, that's not. There are no games here. Oh yeah. The hunger is what they call their zombie thing. The zombie universe, the plague is called the hunger. Tuck, as you scroll a little bit downwards, Zombie Captain Marvel, Zombie Galacti, not Galactus, Zombie Giant Man, Zombie Horde, Zombie Mr. Fantastic, Zombie Power Man, we don't even have the base one, Zombie Scarlet Spider, Zombie Sentry. Also in that universe, Captain America was called Colonel America.
Oh.
October season.
Getting spooky with the zombies. We are getting a lot of cards each season, like they were talking about. So, which also...
Oh, that's so cool.
When I went to update my Marvel Snap on my phone, I saw on the App Store that it did also reference Mole Man and the Thinker. So, I do have a good hunch that they will be coming next season as potential maybe either game mode cards or just additional release cards, as they were referenced on the App Store. Opposed
My
to
guess
just
is that they're
Datamines.
going to be the Series 4 cards as well.
Yeah.
I saw that. And also one thing that we had seen a little bit earlier that I had mentioned very quickly, may not have remembered it, but it was the Grand Arena is a new limited time game mode. And apparently it looks like 2 game modes for this upcoming month here.
Yep. Back to back.
Ooh, wait, hold up. These are some interesting new locations. Stark Industries, after turn 4, split +8 power among all cards here. That's a cool idea. So you don't want to have a lot, but it's also probably going to be evenly split. So that's interesting. And then I don't know how to say Kivch.
I think it's just... I have no idea either.
Add a random activate card here for each player. Tuck, there's a, it even says on Snap.fan, there's a zombie season. Tuck, there's some really, really cool stuff coming out here in Marvel Snap. Like, here's the thing. We're about to talk, I think, about High Voltage Overdrive and just, like, a lot of the negative stuff. But, like, as a prelude to all that negative, like, conversation that's been happening for reasons that we'll talk about here in a second, or we talked about back then, yesterday, because time's weird, apparently. There's some really fun stuff, I think, going to be coming out in Marvel Snap. I'm stoked in general about like these future seasons or what have you. This is going to be fun. One thing I didn't mention, and I don't know if we have the details on it here, is that, who is it? I believe the Galactus First Steps, we've mentioned this, I think, in the past. Galactus First Steps is going to be the Season Pass card, and currently Datamine, I believe, is it the other... Is it the other Silver Surfer? Is that one the other one that's going to be a season pass card potentially?
I think it would be Galactus and then First Step Silver Surfer as premium pass.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because the season pass for July, from what it looks like, is Mr. Fantastic, and then Fantastic Car is the premium.
Yeah. So that would be the following
Yeah.
season then,
Mhm.
potentially.
Mm-hmm.
No confirmations for certain one way or another, but it kind of seems like that right now.
Yeah, we'll have to see the dev video next week after Clea releases to see what the full order of everything is.
Yeah, that it's gonna be a little bit interesting to see how that stuff goes. But there's some fun stuff. I don't even think we know for potentially maybe it's in there and we missed it. We don't know the season pass card potentially for this robot season. And I don't know if we have the information about the potentially premium season pass one again as Datamine. We haven't had any official confirmation as of yet. But yeah, so we did this episode a little bit later in order so we could talk about all this stuff. There's a lot of really fun things. I think, Tuck, who are you most excited for personally out of all the cards that we saw today?
I mean, if I were to just say one, probably Warlock. I think Warlock looks freaking awesome.
I mean, I'm not surprised by that, and I'm also kind of not surprised here that I'm also most stoked about Bastion. So, there not only because like there are the characters that we also we wanted, for also it's just like there's some cool abilities happening, but that's us from the future. We're gonna head back to the past, head back to your regular schedule program. We changed our clothes, and we're gonna give you a little bit of talk about the Overdrive.
Yeah, don't tell our past selves about the new robot/android season.
Oh, please don't. That'd be such crazy spoiler territory. Call us paper getting all these cuts, right? With rock, paper, scissors. Actually, you could just use scissors.
I don't even know. Dance is on something today, but I love it. Nonetheless.
Don't worry. I wasn't on that tomorrow. I think that's a weird sentence, right? Because we just came back from the cut. It's a weird thing, right? But I think it works.
It works more than the amount of volts you can get in this game mode to be able to get Kid Omega. Because it's supposed to be unachievable. Actually, straight up.
That's yeah, right. That like here's the thing. Everything else about the game mode, right? We can say all these different things. The biggest thing that I feel like is the point you take against this game mode is that you're not meant to buy this card. The resource in there is not meant to be spendable. Like that's just not how it's supposed to work. That simply does not make sense to me. I think that's the biggest part that I'm like, there's two parts like economy wise, I feel like that this game mode misses on. First off, it is just that, right? So they said there was a whole announcement that gave, which I feel like every single creator responded to in their own way, shape, and form, where they're just like, yeah, you're not actually supposed to be able to get Kid Omega via this. This was meant to be like you get him at a discount, which they also are charging more than currently for the base thing. They're charging more than a typical Series 5 card would cost, which at one point Griffin even had a message in Team Answer saying like, we're just giving it we're basically allowing people to buy it at the price of a Series 5. Griffin did have to edit the message to say a premium of a Series 5. And then secondary, so like that's a big thing, right? And that it's not great. They could have told us potentially in advance, being like, hey, this is just like, you can't buy this just with the in-game currency. Here, I'm going to give you a spicier take here. I don't even dislike that as much. I feel like, I do just like it. I feel like whoever does like all their pricings and such was like, he called in sick the day that High Voltage Overdrive was like being worked on. Because when you do the mission refill, it costs more to do the mission refill than it does to just buy volts outright.
Yeah.
So at the very minimum, what I feel like that they could have done is if you lower the mission refill thing, it does make some more sense here. But like overall, it's just, I don't know. There's a bunch of different things that I feel like this game mode has missed on, and the community sentiment obviously has not been great around it either.
I really think like, first of all, we get our first ever Series 6 card in Kid Omega. Since it's a premium Series 5 card, or it's a Series 5.5 card or whatever. But like there's a couple things, minor things they could have changed. I think you nailed it right on the head. Make the refills cost less. Or honestly, what if you just got more points for winning games instead of just 20? What if you actually got 30 to 40 on average? Yes, of course, I do not like the connotation of like, well, you weren't supposed to be able to get this card organically, like anyways, like you were supposed to use in-game currency. I just think the communication, if that has been prefaced, that still would have gone over. Like, people still would have disliked that. 100% people still would have disliked that. But if you had actually prefaced that before the game mode was released, then you don't have to stand on business afterwards. You can kind of just communicate further why this has happened, which is why I'm really hoping that after this is done, we get some better reasoning, because it really did feel like we're sending out this notification to the Discord. Boom, we vanished for the weekend. You're not going to hear from us. Like, it feels like they just literally typed it up and said, sorry, we're gone.
It was such an awkward time for that, right?
Yes.
Like, they send that and they're like, all right, cool, have fun, bye.
Yeah, like,
I mean, I feel like that also allowed the community to do a bunch of, like, here's the thing that's been going around, right? Is everyone saying, well, Snap is dead because Kid Omega got released at this way, and they're standing by it. I'm gonna be honest with you, Snap's gonna be fine. Yes, it's probably gonna lose some people, but I don't. If this is what kills the game, I don't know. I'll eat my shoe. Like, I don't believe it. Like, the game is stronger than that. It's a negative experience, and I am not saying it isn't, but it is. There's no way this is the death of the game. And I'm not just saying that as someone who's invested into the game. It's just my time and resources. But, like, it's also just as, like, from the way that I've seen other mobile games thrive and flourish, like, stuff like this isn't enough to kill the game.
Yeah, and I don't think it's Kid Omega that is going to kill Snap, like you said. It's just some of these steps that we are potentially taking within these next couple months are going to be make or break in this new era of Snap. Is the Fantastic Car, which is data mined right now, going to be a super premium pass buy? Do you have to spend like, you spend $20 now to get 2 cards, or wait an extra month? It's really going to be like, how are these cards going to have an impact paying to have more cards, which already you are paying for the season pass, which is in some instances can be considered a pay-to-win card. Can be. Not all the time, and it's not like guaranteed I have this card, I'm going to win the game, because that's just not how Snap works. But it's going to be very interesting just to see what develops after this, whether also we do have rumors of a Sanctum Showdown also happening this next week, I believe.
So Sanctum Showdown actually will be probably right a couple hours after this goes live. We'll actually have Sanctum Showdown. There's some stuff about that we can talk about after we finish talking about Overdrive. But yeah, it's gonna be. You definitely have to wait a little bit and see. It's funny, by the way. Tucker and I were, like, setting up stuff, and he's like, "All right, I've got the Kid Omega. I've got this other stuff. Like, do I need Cobra?" And I said, "No, nobody needs Cobra. We don't need him to talk about high voltage overdrive. We don't need him for discussions just in general. It just, I don't know. It's another burger of a card. But I do think that in general, Kid Omega and this whole high voltage overdrive has created this whole scene and just people questioning a lot more specific things about Snap. So I'll just say, in regards to the actual message that Second Dinner sent, right? In regards to that message, I don't like it, but I remember I read it and I'm like, I'm not surprised either.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I didn't want a message like this, but when I read this message, I'm like, yeah, unfortunately, this all makes sense.
Yeah, it's a major feels bad, because like, it really felt like our voices weren't being heard, but they were saying our voices were being heard, and like, I think that's kind of like where the drawback is, or where like it really feels bad. But like, at the end of the day too, they are a business, and they get to make the decisions on how they want to run their business, which really sucks, like it does genuinely suck.
It does.
And like, I wish like it felt as like creators, like, I don't know if you feel this way too, but it feels like we have voices, but like, our voices at the same time, like, we don't get hands-on experience with some of this stuff like before other people. Like, we can't have a more thorough, like, which is why a lot of our stuff is theory crafting. We're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this, and sometimes it feels like we're just marketing people for just Marvel Snap in general, and we're not being treated like we're working for them. We're just people, and they're like, well, we'll hand you a little something here, a little something. You need some gold so you can get Kid Omega. Maybe.
Yeah,
like,
that's the biggest thing. If y'all didn't know that creators actually get this, creators get a small stipend of it's like 2K or 1.2K gold. I think every single month is the way it works. But yeah, so I mean, they basically said, hey, you can here. This month they actually told us, they didn't, I'm making a joke. They told us like, hey, use this gold in particular just for Kid Omega. Trust us, you'll want it. And then we're like, what? No, I'm joking about all that stuff. For what it's worth, actually, Glenn actually also recently commented in the Ask the Team area, because I asked a question. And he responded saying, because I asked, hey, is Kid Omega, is this card actually overpowered? And he said, thus far, Kid Omega is a strong but reasonable card on stats. We most often see new cards start with low play rates that spike high and cool down over time, but neither his win rate nor cube rate are in the top 10 for the game. If this is the peak of his strength, it is not a concerning height. Kid Omega's performance metrics are most analogous to Dakin or Brood as cards that are that polarize the winning power output of a specific deck. He has successfully given Sabretooth also apparently a little bit of extra heat, which has been nice to see. So I guess that actually, first words, I will say that actually kind of makes sense. You can play Kid Omega on 2, and then I hadn't thought about that as a combo. But anyway, the card isn't busted. I don't think Sabretooth is still good. But again, right, this is like the peak. This is the peak of a new card. So if the peak is this, it's a new card, and I think it's fun. But it's also, I don't think this card is busted.
No, I think I'm shaking my head at the Sabretooth comment. I'm not shaking my head at the
Yeah. I figured. That's why I gave you a little bit of sarcasm there.
The Kid Omega stats, the stats were crazy. Don't get me wrong. The stats for last week with Kid Omega were crazy. But you put on your freaking, magnifying glass, your telescope, however deep you want to look into it.
Telescope?
Your telescope.
Okay.
You want to go freaking miles out there. People were not teching for Kid Omega. So those decks are kind of just going to run rampant, especially when everyone else is playing Nightmare. Like, I know it's funky. Like, and we'll talk about Nightmare a little bit. I'm going to put him on screen now. Like, there's a lot of, yes, there's unknown with Nightmare, but, like, baseline what stats the cards are for the most part into a Nightmare situation. So you can kind of snap into a Nightmare because they're not going to be able to keep up. Whereas, the Kid Omega, since the pool of people that had Kid Omega was so small, you weren't necessarily teching for that. So you were really able to just surprise people. Oh, wow, they actually have the $100 card. Look at this dude, kind of thing. But and then they just body you because you didn't prep for them. And that's what it was. It isn't necessarily that Kid Omega is the most busted card ever released. Because, maybe hot take here, I think Cassandra Nova is still the best game mode card that has ever been released.
I would probably agree with that, yeah.
And it's different because it's like Cassandra Nova, value-wise, is different because, it's kind of matchup specific. It's, more draw dependent, maybe more draw dependent. Granted, you can play Cassandra Nova on 6 and get value, or Kid Omega, you're not doing anything with Kid Omega on 6 because it's activate. But, Cassandra Nova, you at least could grind for this really good card, and people were win trading and all that stuff. And I think maybe that put a little bit of a bad taste in the mouth of second dinner and stuff too. And maybe they're like, well, this is a really, really, really good card. We're giving all these people. Maybe we should just take a step back and just see what happens. And I think this is a prime example of them testing the water. Will people spend money to get the card this way, which people did spend money to get Cassandra Nova. Don't get me wrong, people did that. People bought bubs. That still was an option, but it was more achievable because you could earn the bubs better, opposed to only just being able to spend the gold. And I think that was something to look at in general when it comes to comparing those two cards, because I feel like Cassandra Nova and Kid Omega are the best comparison to each other because they're both series
on that aspect, yeah.
In the way that you could obtain them and everything.
Yeah.
But we kind of were thinking Cassandra Nova is really, really good, but you knew more people were going to be able to get Cassandra Nova, and you could kind of tap into that more, and it was really dependent on what you're playing and overall as a community playing with Cassandra Nova. Whereas Kid Omega, you have to genuinely tech for something like that, and I think that's why the stats were different with Kid Omega when he initially got released into the pool when people were playing Kid Omega, opposed to Cass. Because Cass, you're like, okay, well, if I'm playing Thanos, she gets capped here. If I'm playing something else, she gets capped here. And I think with Kid Omega, it genuinely is, what are they destroying next? Do I have Red Guardian? Am I running Shang-Chi in this list? If I'm doing Nightmare stuff, I have to pray my Cold Obsidian or whatever turns into Typhoid Mary turns into Shang-Chi, or my Lizard turns into Shadow King, or they're literally just going to run all over me. Or even into some of these other decks, which is why you started to see, like, another very popular list right now is a Mr. Sinister Gwenpool Galacta kind of like Zabu tech list that has Enchantress, it has Shang-Chi, it has Mobius, like it has some of those options that Chamo has been running, and I've been seeing more people play that, but like people weren't really running that tech for that type of play until later into the week, and it started to trickle down as more people were making content on the cards. Like, you know, Riggs made content, KM made content, and then people started playing the deck. And also, not everyone's going to play the deck the same way. Just because content creator has this amazing success with this deck doesn't mean average Joe is going to be able to play that deck the same exact way. You have to know the lines. Your pocket metas are going to be different. There are skill ceilings and floors in Marvel Snap. Some people are going to be better at the game than other people.
There have been plenty of decks that I have either shown to friends or stolen from others, and they just are actively a lot worse due to different metas. I don't have to run as many tech cards because I'm not in the top 1K or whatever what that is. So I don't have to deal with as much of that stuff. I can build more sandcastles. But yeah, I think it's a lot of that stuff, though. It's going to be a matter of the thing I'm expecting most, I think, with Kid Omega, and I'm honestly surprised I haven't heard it much before, is people asking, okay, cool, this card exists. Give us a card to counter activate. That's the thing I actually expected most, which the only one currently is Red Guardian.
Yeah, I just feel like we need more activate cards that feel powerful.
I agree. But that doesn't change that I still expected more from others.
Yes. No. I think that's a good like idea as well. But it's like when you look at the state of activate cards, like Aranya, Black Swan, Cobra, Jennifer Kale, Symbiote Spider-Man, Kid Omega, Hell Cow.
There are other ones that I'm not going to try to remember all of them, but yeah.
But it's like, how do we kind of cap those? But I think some of those conditions, like they have said counters. They have the Red Guardian for Kid Omega. You have Lady Deathstrike. You got Killmonger. Cosmo doesn't do anything. You have Mobius for Black Swan. So like there's options for it, but like a set 1-to-1, this counters activate, we don't have that. I think before we have something that counters activate, we need something that caps people's energy.
I feel like that's gonna be a while before that occurs. If they did that, if they ever did that, I would like it. I'd like it to be an asymmetric or a symmetrical one, not asymmetrical, because I don't know. There are locations that also like give you extra energy and stuff like that, and I feel like just random locations like that being like, oh, yep, sorry, I played this card that means you don't get to use the extra energy, and then we just got Project Pegasus. Not like Mobius.
Yeah, so you want a card that's not like Mobius.
Like Enchantress.
More like Enchantress.
Yeah, if that ever occurred. I don't know what control I get over this stuff, but I would like it so just both players are capped at the typical max cap, whatever. Or you just make it so like both players have to have the same max cap. If one player, maybe it's a tech card that says if you have the same max energy as your opponent.
I think that, which also is not symmetrical because it's like you're not.
Well, no, it does. It forces it to be it.
But like I'm thinking I want a Mobius style card. That's
fair.
Enchantress.
I like the Enchantress stuff because I think it gives you more stuff, and also it could even give you some extra life to Havoc. That's a fun combo potentially. That's that I've thought about, which isn't really important. But anyway, back to actually Overdrive in the end, though. Right, it's over. We're done with it. Thankfully, I mean, I didn't enjoy it really, but I know that a lot of people had. At least people did enjoy the game mode, even if I wasn't one of them. And I'm interested in what they're going to be doing in the future, especially regarding Sanctum Showdown. I'm going to pause for a second. Did you do a thing for Astral Protection?
Nope.
You want to grab one real quick? Because that's coming out today, that information they said. And the game was coming out tomorrow.
I mean, are we posting this after the blog post goes live?
I'm assuming the blog post they said is going to go live today.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You wanting to talk about astral projection before Dormammu?
Yeah, we can talk about Astral Projection being the first skill card that starts, like, it's an actual card that you put in your deck. And then we can talk about the actual other skill cards that Dormammu and stuff has.
Okay.
And also, we've talked about High Voltage Overdrive a lot, and I don't know how much data myself there's going to be tomorrow, so I was trying to stop us there.
No, you're good.
I'm going to go with it. We're good? And so, Tuck, this is going to be our first skill card that is direct, like you put it directly into your deck. This is the card, a Series 4 card, Astral Protection, 3 cost, skill, so it's 0 power, no power, whatever. It says on reveal, copy the text of an on reveal card in your hand. And with that in mind, like that's it, right? This just works in a really sick way. And this is going to be the reward for Sanctum Showdown, which I think is, in comparison to Overdrive, I think you should be able to get it being free to play. Maybe it's like, I think a little bit unlucky. You maybe don't, but it's like for the majority of player base, I think is going to be okay. I don't remember the exact stats on this.
You need to have above a 50% win rate to be able to get this organically. And I think you do need to play most, if not all, of the mission resets as well.
Yeah. Are there missions in Sanctum? I don't remember there being missions.
There's missions. Otherwise, you're literally playing a lot of games. Like, I think you have to play at least.
Maybe there are.
You have to play. I think it was upwards.
You also get
to
some
60
just as
to 80
rewards.
games.
You also get some charms as rewards.
Yeah, but you still have to play a lot.
Yeah, that's fair. But so I mean, I think this should be majority playable. This seems like at least a fun card. I'm excited about this one. We didn't build any decks for this, but Tuck, do you have any just gut feelings? Where do you want to put this card?
I think this would be a very interesting card for like a Victoria Hand kind of hood frigate kind of thing, maybe.
Sure.
Or even like a collector generation stuff, like Kahori or something would be very interesting. I don't have a direct, like, I know this is hard. It's just like, this is different than the ancient one, but it's also a 3-cost spell, and like it is very hand specific because it does copy a card on revealing your hand. So like it'll be something people can build around, which I think will be nice. I think this card's more playable than Cobra, so I think that's a good
I'd
start.
agree with that. All right, you want me to give you two? I'll give you one card I think is a spicy take to put with this guy.
Okay.
Electro.
Okay.
And you know what deck you're gonna run with Electro? And you set up so you have very few on reveals in the deck. You go Nightmare.
What if instead?
He said no. He said no.
What if instead you go Galactus?
That is funny. That is funny as well. You could do Galactus. I don't even honestly. That's kind of funny.
Because you goblin over potentially, or even like junk. This copies an on reveal in your hand. You could get like a Sentry Annihilus kind of thing. Get lucky if it's targeted and you only have one on reveal in your hand, it's gonna hit that one reveal every time.
Right. The reason I like it's Sauron Nightmare because you could set it up that before you have Nightmare, you have 3 hits: Sauron, Nightmare, and Electro, which is, I honestly kind of stand the Electro idea, which I think you disagree with, but it just gets rid of all those negatives in there.
It does, but
it's not enough for you to be convinced. But
I mean, I honestly like classic Sauron more than I like Nightmare Sauron. I mean, that might even be a hot take. I like the classic Sauron with Surtur and Scar more than Nightmare Sauron.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a fun take. Huh? I don't know. I'm uncertain there. There's gonna be some fun stuff with this card, but I think the card people are really stoked that's coming out today is Dormammu.
Yes, this card is gonna be very interesting. Which, by the way, this card automatically gives you a spell into your hand, and you know what you guys should be doing with your hands right now? It's gonna be a little funky segue. here.
I'm gonna take a bite of my orange chicken as you say this. I'm gonna
What
use that
you
with my hands.
guys need to
What are
be
you gonna say?
doing is you need to click your mouse or use your finger and click that description so you can see all of Not My Dance's links down below. And I need you to click onto every single one of them to make sure you are either following or subscribed to all of his channels, whether it is his Twitter, his Twitch, or his YouTube. Please make sure you guys are following or subscribed. Also have that notification bell clicked and ready to go so you can know whenever Dance is posting his content, which all of his content is absolutely phenomenal, by the way. If you guys aren't following, you guys are missing out on really, really solid content, whether he is building his Minecraft realm with all of his Pokemon, whether he is playing all his fun party games with his friends, whether he is snapping as well. Make sure you guys are following it on all of his socials. But Dormammu is finally coming to the game. The 7-cost, 11-powered man himself that has the ability, game start, begin a summoning or ritual, and add step 1 to your hand. And Dan, step 1's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so it's interesting the fact that step 1 is the only one, which I do like it, right? It's a free one as well, but it's the only one that actually has a specific requirement. Everything else you don't need to do other than, I believe, just like play the card there. That's it. But for the first step of the summoning ritual, it says, actually, maybe the third one does. Does the third one do that?
Second
one doesn't?
Step 2 and 3, you do have to meet a requirement to go to the next step.
We'll get to them in a second here. But step 1, the free one, is merge your highest power destroyed card with Dormammu to continue. So that is looking directly at your graveyard. Very fun initial step there, at least.
Yeah, this is like, like Phoenix Force revives a card from your graveyard. Elixir revives a card from your graveyard. Morgan Le Fay revives a card from your graveyard. You have to have a card in your graveyard in order for this to work, which is what's beneficial about this is a 0-cost card. So you could destroy a card, same turn, play this to get to the next step. So you just have to order it properly.
Yeah. Exactly. It's going to be fun. This is a card obviously makes Kid Omega busted. This is why Glenn said that Kid Omega is doing fine in terms of stats right now, because he was too scared to ask the question tomorrow after Dormammu was in the game. Confirmed. Don't test me. Anyway, but the second of these rituals says that Dormammu steals 1 power from each card here to continue the ritual, I believe. And this one again, like it doesn't even require that you have any cards there.
You have to steal at least 1 power to be.
Do we have that confirmed?
Well, if you're not stealing power from anything, you shouldn't be able to go to the next step.
That's potentially fair.
Because
I hadn't thought about that.
Because think about like a Corvus kind of thing. Discard 2 cards to continue. Like steal power from each card here. This could be me just assuming, but I'm like,
no, that's fair. I'd argue that there's probably at least you need to have there needs to be another card there either from you or your opponent. That's fair. That's actually a good thing.
Or otherwise, I just throw a spell out, boom, I'm on step 3.
Honestly, I thought it was like that, so I appreciate the correction. But I mean, again, it's also a really simple spell. The biggest thing is you have to now spend the energy. It's a little bit easier, but the third spell is the one that's like this one. It's not even that bad. Still, all of this is going to be cheaper than 7.
Step 2 is a 1-cost spell, so just keep in mind you do have to spend energy for this.
And step 3 is the final part of the summoning ritual. It says destroy 2 of your characters here to summon Dormammu. And it's interesting that I don't believe you can, or maybe can you play? Do you think you can play this card to a location with 3 cards in it already, and have it summon Dormammu?
Yes, because it just says you destroy 2 of your characters here. It doesn't say you can't have more than 2 characters here.
Well, I was going to say because of spacing. Like,
well,
but no,
it
probably destroys the cards
Dormammu
first.
Comes out, yeah.
Well, Dormammu is part of the on reveal, right?
No, well, on reveal, destroy 2 of your cards to summon Dormammu. The on reveal
that's fair. So it destroys them to have. Yeah, okay, that's fair. But here's the thing: in total, that is only 4 energy you have to spend. It requires you to do other setup a little bit, but at the same time, that's cheaper than the 7 cost for the base, which you can actually still play. Like you can, there's still potentially worlds where like you can still play that because he will be a card in your deck. You could even get him in your hand. it will pull it out from wherever, and whenever you accomplish this third part of the ritual, which I think is pretty fun. This card is really cool.
Yeah, and I think what's something that's also like awesome about this too is like you don't have to tempo this. So it's not like by turn 2, by turn 3, I need to do that. Like there's gonna be situations where it's are gonna be a little funky, but like there's a world where maybe you've bricked up until turn 6 and you play. Yes, you're bricked up. And like maybe you end up playing. You could even potentially like this is like of course crazy situation, but like there's a world where you can go ahead and play step 2 out on turn 6, and you have something like an Isan, and Isan will then get the other ritual and bring down that ritual onto his lane because this is a created card. Or even something like I'm literally just saying copium stuff now, but like there's worlds where like you can kind of brick what's going on and still get the value. Like you could do Red Wing things would work, you know, Time Stone from Infinity Ultron would work. Like there's definitely areas where like you can still get this out late in the game, but because of like what Dan was saying, this is a 3 cost. It overall makes Dormammu a 4/11, but not often enough 4/11 too, because whatever power he steals gains that power, whatever card he merges with he gains that power. And like even if you maybe tempo out Dormammu, if this works the same way that temporal manipulation works, Dormammu comes back from your graveyard and onto the board, because Agamotto gets summoned wherever he is with temporal manipulation and gets back into your hand. Whether he's in your deck, whether he's in your graveyard. This with Dormammu should work whether he's in your deck or in your graveyard. You get summoned onto the board.
I mean, I don't know. That's sick, actually. I haven't thought really about that bit. So there's a lot of fun stuff there. I don't know. I have no idea truly about that, but that's going to be really fun. And I think we got some fun piles to potentially do with them as well.
Yeah, Dance and I have cooked up a couple different things here. We're going to talk about Dance's deck at first glance.
I mean, I feel like this deck, right, with the Mockingbird, Death, Sasquatch pile, like I feel like it's been very close to playable for a very long period of time. And I think that there's a chance that Dormammu actually really assists that. And I'm hoping it does. I like the way that, you can do a lot of other ramping out bits. Biggest thing I could see against this deck, and that's a point I'm going to say against it, because I when I see them, I notice them. Straight up, I wish I had Kid Omega for this pile. I'm not going to put it in there because I didn't real. It's not coming out for another month, basically. But this is it looks like a really fun pile. I like everything else it does here. Kid Omega would be a nice way to have an additional destroy option, because not only do you have both Venom and Killmonger, you do have Dormammu, who also wants you to have some cards destroyed. So uncertain on all of that, but in general, I really like this idea for a pile.
Yeah, I had a similar list, not for this here, that I was talking about for like Token Destroy. I think like it gives you some awesome like different lines to mess around with. Like what's cool with like step 2 is like you're taking away power, of course, from your side of the board. You're not running like a Luke Cage in this style list, but then you can use the power, like just play step 3 on that lane that you've taken power from. Like let's say you have the Mysterios or you have the Squirrels there that have lost power and they're just negative power, and those cards destroyed count towards death. You know, playing some of these spells out too are going to be cheaper as well, so you can play out a large variety of other stuff with it to discount your Sasquatch. Like you have a bunch of different token value, and like most of these cards you've destroyed, like you can play your Carnage onto your Uncle Ben. That's 2 power going to Dormammu. Destroying a Mysterio, I think it counts for Mysterio being at the 0 power when it's destroyed.
It'll be 0, yeah.
But that still is a destroyed card in your pile. Your Dormammu doesn't gain power there, but it's an enabler.
But I don't think you're really oftentimes worried about Dormammu getting a lot of power based off of that.
No. It's just about getting Dormammu on the board, more importantly than anything.
Yeah, which I think it's going to be fair. It's going to be exciting to see exactly what the best version of this list is, but also like it's kind of a new big bad for Destroy, but I as we'll see here with your list, it doesn't mean that's the only big bad you need to be running.
Yeah, I still think you can play Dormammu in like a classic Destroy. Like he kind of takes the Zola slot right here for me. And just like Dance was saying, like I would swap out Deathlock for Kid Omega. I've honestly not running Deathlock in Destroy right now anyways. Like, I haven't been running him in Destroy in ages. I have Hydra Bob in here. There's an argument you could do Martyr instead, but I wanted a potential playable card that doesn't just go out of the way to lose me the game, which is why I have Bob in here instead. But, like, you're not keeping Bob on the board anyways. You're just destroying this so you can get Dormammu fodder.
And that's my logic, I think, for why I probably would say Martyr. But again, here, this is one that I'm gonna give you a spicier take, at least on this deck. I believe the correct card to use is Martyr. I believe you are correct in showing Hydra Bob because I think we talked about a little bit earlier. Content creators versus like people who know how to play the deck versus someone who doesn't. I'm insulting every one of you who are watching. Apologies, but it's basically like, hey, if you don't know the exact thing you're supposed to be doing here, keep that in mind, basically. So, because oftentimes you're really not playing Hydra Bob if you if you don't want him to stay on the board. You don't want that with Martyr either, but Martyr gives you an extra point. It's just I'm just wanting to insult everyone here, Tuck. Sorry.
Which, like, also, like, I'm talking about earlier, like, the curvature when it comes to, like, these cards and, like, when you play out for, like, Dormammu and everything. Like, destroying Nico, destroying Bob, even destroying a Carnage or a Killmonger and using that as fodder for Dormammu is really beneficial to give him that extra power. You have Ramp here with X23. So, like, you have all sorts of different stuff going on. Maybe you have smaller cards. Like, you can even have, like, a Deadpool X23 in the board, and you have Step 3, and that's a destroy for you instead of you Venoming. And, like, it's going to be very interesting to see how you can use this as different outs, because it says destroy characters here. It doesn't say those characters have to go into your graveyard. It's just those cards are getting destroyed, and boom, Dormammu's on the board.
Yeah, we even see in the video, we even see them use the benefit of Bucky to get destroyed. I actually going to say, I feel like there's a really potential case for Hydra Bob being either Hood or Uncle Sam, or Uncle Ben, not Uncle Sam.
It's just like Hood, yes, because that's an automatic card, you know, in your destroy pile. But, like, I don't want to have that -3.
That's the reason why I also said Uncle Ben. Yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of this list as well. I like the idea of just being able to use the generic destroy package because, I mean, it's a list that I think is consistent. I think I've talked about this, like, it's been a while since I've said it. If destroy is in a good place, I think the meta's in a good place. And I think that if this deck hopefully is like, it just brings destroy back in a little bit, I think it'd be a lot of fun. I'm excited for the copium that apparently Glenn is bringing, saying that Kid Omega is going to bring Sabretooth back. Didn't know that was a thing until Glenn said that, but yeah. Anyway, but on a much more legitimate level, Dormammu I think is going to be a very interesting card. Tuck is just not here for the Sabretooth copium.
I don't hate it. Like, I think it's totally something you could work with, but I just don't think, like, Sabretooth is the 14th or 17th card in a destroy list. He's not in, like, the top 12.
I like the logic potentially of him being brought back by Kid Omega, or like getting the value there. I hadn't thought about that. I'm not defending it. He said it, and I'm just interested.
Yeah. I don't.
That's all I'm saying.
But, like, if you
my interest has been piqued. No, if you don't have Kid Omega, heck no. I'm just saying that he said that, and then I'm like, my gears started turning because he if you want to know time frame, he said that literally in the middle of us recording the episode. So my gears been turning, and all I can do is think about that here. So, I mean, if we're going to talk about cards that are bad, maybe some cards that are too good, do you want to talk about our predictions for this OTA? Because not only did we have High Voltage Overdrive, not only are we getting our first skill card that we can directly add to a deck, not only are we getting Signature Showdown, not only are we getting Dormammu, and not only did we get a patch today from when the video went live, not only did we get Datamines, we're also getting an OTA on Thursday.
Yeah.
Sorry, there was like 19 different things as I just started going through a list.
A huge week going on. And Dance, do you want to lead us off with changes you're thinking of?
Yeah, I'm down. So I'm going to talk about a couple of the newer Series 4 cards that just got added. And let's start ourselves off here with, I'm going to go with just Fanfei.
Okay.
I would like this card. This has been out of every single one of those cards, right? Because they did 3 movement cards all getting added at the same time in Series 4. This is the one I think just performed the worst out of all of them. I would like to just see what happens if you make it so this card moves your other cards just elsewhere. Not just to the right, just you move them away. That's all the requirement is.
So, like,
it requires
old Annihilus Datamine just move all your cards here.
But it's only here. Yeah, so it'd only be 3 other cards. Yeah. It's kind of like old Hercules, or actually just current Hercules. They just move them away, and that's it. And maybe the card still sucks, but I honestly think if you're a movement deck, this is an interesting piece, and it just sucks that you have to only use it in the left lane.
I don't hate it.
And it also gives you the way for it to go all the way back to the other side.
Yeah, I would love to just see it do something different. I don't hate it.
Yeah, it's not a crazy thing, I know. But I wanted to start us off with something, just a card that I feel like we all immediately forgot about.
Yeah, no, I think I'm cool with that. I would change Cable to the top card in your opponent's deck again, as a direct, more deliberate counter to like Surge.
Oh, I'm down. I'm sold. Draw a card normally. Is it random or is it?
Yeah, it's random.
Interesting. Yeah, if it is just random, yeah, no, then I agree. This is 100%.
I believe it's
I actually kind of thought it was.
I believe it's random.
Okay. If it is random, I agree with you 100%. If it's not, then why would you make the change? It already exists.
Yeah, it already exists. But no, like I'm pretty sure
if it already exists, I agree with you still, because no, but that's a great way. I think that's a great way to just change this card. I think it would be a solid addition, because I don't even think it's that great, but I like it as not even a full counter, but it's like a pseudo counter to that type of stuff.
Yeah, and it's OG text was it used to just draw your opponent's top card.
So the reason I might even argue that this actually, as I freeze, the reason I would argue that this probably does potentially even draw right now on top, the difference would be Gladiator, and Gladiator just says add a card from your opponent's deck. Maybe the difference between add and draw makes a difference there, but I don't know. Is it actually? Wait, hold up. What's the wording on Crystal? Each player draws a card, is what she says. So I actually would argue this card already does it.
You think it already does top card? Yeah,
because if Crystal says each player just draws a card, doesn't specify top.
Okay, then scrap my idea. If Crystal also, I want to figure out if Crystal also is top card or just draw a random card.
No one plays her, and I'm not going to recommend a change. So I don't. So yeah, who knows?
I don't know. If you guys know this,
do you think there's a world? Do you think there's a world where Crystal could be a activate, unrelated? Like, is that even better? Or does it just make it worse?
It would make it potentially better. I mean, it gives you the Jennifer Kale argument, right?
Which I do like Jennifer Kale actually, and Psylocke. As I've been playing Jennifer Kale a little bit recently. It's been pretty solid here.
Just a test to see how it is, and then we get activate counters.
Exactly. Speaking of activate, actually, my next card is an activate. My last one was Fanfei. Anyway, I'll get. I talked about a different Series 4 card. I'm gonna do a little bit of a sandwich here. I want to talk about Mr. Negative. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think this card is gonna people are gonna be crazy about this card. Whatever. I think there's a bunch of different opinions. And this is the one I'm most willing to say 100% wrong about. But I would argue that there's a real chance that Mr. Negative should have less power.
Make him a 4-2.
I was even gonna say 4-4 because it's funny. But I think 4-2 is probably more reasonable. But I wrote down in my notes 4-4 because then it's +4 -4.
I mean that would be like
that's my notes.
Direct like 1 to.
Exactly. That's my biggest reason for it. I would be 100% honest. It is because you make it -. But also, I feel like it's another interesting way. Like, it doesn't stop the deck from being insane. It doesn't stop the deck from doing everything it does. And I don't think I want to do that. I think that's really interesting. But if the card loses a little bit of power, it just makes. I feel like it just takes away the ability or the desire for you to go for like a negative or like a Mr. Negative very late in the game.
I don't hate it. Like, Mr. Negative is one of those cards where it's like, if I don't have Mobius, I feel like I'm just cooked. And so
at least you have a lane then potentially where you're like, oh, you know what? This is a lane I could potentially fight for. Because now they're in a worse spot.
Until they play their gore on that lane, and then I'm like, oh, okay, well.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't that way.
Anyway, but I don't even think it'd be busted. I don't know. You let us know. And by the way, Tuck, I'm just telling you this, that tomorrow, aka earlier in this episode of the Datamines section, is when I actually threw in a promotion for you. So I'm not doing that today. I just thought I would tell you that now. Because I had a couple opportunities where I was thinking of it, but I'm like, nah, I'm gonna save it for tomorrow, aka earlier in the episode.
Okay.
Everyone who's listening right now or watching, they already heard it. They were like, wow, Dance, that was our favorite. Ooh, he going boogie?
High Evo Hulk.
Okay, so not vanilla, right? This is the high evolutionary version.
High Evo Hulk.
Okay, I've got the
High Evo Hulk. Where
back
it was
to
more,
OG.
where it was like an ongoing ability.
I don't mind it, but here's my question. There are two different. There's a next month feels like there's going to be a lot of like combos with end of turn cards. Does it need it?
That's why I think it could be just a wait and see. Because
actually this would be a nerf in comparison to that.
Yes, this. Well, I mean,
right? Because his current ability, I got High Evo himself pulled up over here. The current ability for Evo Hulk is an end of turn ability, and I believe it's First Steps Invisible Woman. That is an activate ability that says your end of turn abilities happen twice this turn.
Well, so it's not that you're changing his text to ongoing. I just meant the ability still procs while he's in your deck, like he did originally. Sorry, that's what I meant instead. Not that.
So
it
basically,
ongoing.
Basically what it happens is that last little bit where it says if in hand or in play just says wherever he is.
Yes, kind of like how She-Hulk does now.
I was gonna say Shaw.
Shaw, or So like Hulk,
originally,
no matter if he was in your deck or not, got the +2 when you skipped energy. So just going back that way. But
I don't mind that. I like that actually. That's a fun idea. But again, I feel like I want to put that asterisk there, like if it's good potentially with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yes-ish.
Ish, yes.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm gonna hit you with one last one because I think move just in general, just generic things, has kind of been struggling. So I got that Fanfei buff, right? I'm gonna throw you a Topaz loop here, okay?
Okay.
Currently, she's a 3/4. Says after you play a card here, you move it to the middle location. I want to make a case for her becoming a 3/2. With the ability, after you play a card here, move it to your lowest power location. So it wouldn't be her location, right? So it'd be move it to whatever the other location is between the other two. That is your lowest power one. Or maybe it even is her current location, and if that location's too weak, then it doesn't move, which maybe sucks. I don't know. I just say the other location, whatever the other two is weakest.
I like the ability, but I wonder if still 3/2 is too much power. I wonder if she needs to be less power or she needs to be a 4-cost.
I could easily. I don't think. I feel like a 4-cost in move decks is often a death sentence.
Often, yes.
Fanfei.
Yeah, but I think it's.
But you're right. But you're right that it could be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very strong ability. So. I don't know. That's why I'm willing to easily say no on that, but also I kind of like the logic of it.
I would like that change a lot, but I don't know exactly what the power and cost differential you do for that, but that would be a really cool implementation for the card.
Yeah. I was basically thinking I added 1 power, 1 cost to Madam Web was my logic there, but doesn't mean it's correct. I don't know. There's some interesting stuff here, but hit us with your final OTA prediction.
So
these are more desires than predictions.
I know Affliction kind of is not as high as it was before, but this card itself I still think is incredibly strong. So I'm thinking you take a point or 2 of power off of Diamondback.
I think you could lose. I would say not 2. I could say you could easily lose a point of power from Diamondback, and the card is probably still just as fine. I think once you lose 2, that's a lot. But if Ajax lists are continue to overperform, I think it's a completely fair thing to say, like, you take a point away from this.
Where Hazmat, definitely the change has impacted Affliction dramatically. And I know, like, it is not performing as amazing as it was, but I still think this card itself is still incredibly strong. So I wouldn't hate it losing a point of power as much as I love this card. I think it could lose a point of power.
I think that's fair. I think it's completely fair. Yeah, I like our OTA changes today. In general, like, I'm gonna be honest, I even like the cable thing, even though it's technically correct potentially. I still like it. I still agree with that 100%. If it didn't do that, like it should. So in general, I actually like these OTA changes, but these are much less, I think, of predictions than more just like, this is what we want here. Give us some different changes. And I don't think anything is like crazy. I don't even think the Mr. Negative thing is crazy. I have been saying I want it -4 just because it matches.
And I think Negative is performing incredibly well still right now, even though Mobius is trying to is getting better in the the meta. When I was doing the cards of the week video, there was like Mobius in 16% of decks. But it wasn't, he was like in a large variety of different decks. It was like the same deck had been played a lot, which is one of the main reasons.
And that's a fun, as as I mentioned earlier in this video episode podcast. That's a good thing that people should be checking out. But I'm not going to say it now, but I mentioned that earlier.
But we do really want to say thank you guys for sticking around to the very end of the video today, and for talking about Blorp, for those of you guys who stuck around to the very end of last week's video.
How do you... Wait, no, it wasn't Blorp. Was it Blorp? What?
It was something...
It was not Blorp.
Was it Blorp?
It was a weird thing. Oh, God, I have no idea. But you know what? Thankfully, if everyone could let us know... What is it? Again, if you made it to the end of the video for this one, use the word aquatic in your comment. Don't care how. Just... aquatic somewhere in there, like, well, oh my gosh, this update, it's truly, you know what, Diamondback, she's got an aquatic background. Just let us know if you made it to the end of the video and you comment. That's going to be our way that we can keep track of it. If you use the word aquatic in your comment. We don't remember the one we gave last week, but it's fun, and we are probably going to keep doing this.
Aquatic. But yeah, thank you guys so much for
watching.
watching.
By this, I meant the comment thing. We're going to keep doing the yap wasn't in question.
Aquatic. But we thank you guys so much for watching the video. We really appreciate it. We hope you guys have a great week. Hopefully we get some good changes in the patch and the OTA, and maybe some of these predictions come true.
I'm stoked for Datamines.
Yeah, I can't wait for Datamines as well, or the Datamines we already talked about in this episode. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know down below if you guys have any OTA predictions or changes you guys would like to see on Thursday. And yeah, it's been real. God bless, and laters.